Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. On the podcast, we'll talk to experts on everything from Thomasville history and events to daily operations and city business, all while having some fun in the process.
Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. I am Austin Reams, and I am here with Ricky Zambrano, Man of the Year. Yeah. Ricky.
You know, you skipped a couple of episodes with that, so I'm appreciative that you brought it back, and hopefully it keeps you in your place and keeps you grounded of the presence that you have sitting next to you.
Yep.
You realize I came back a little stronger this time.
I love it.
You know,
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
kind of growing into the shoes of it.
That's right.
Put it that way.
Ricky pays me $5 every time I mention that he's Man of the Year. So
yeah,
you know,
and you're making me bankrupt. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. We'll pump the brakes, unlike the acceleration of the days and months of 2026, which has led us into nearing the end of May that quickly. And, you know.
It's graduation season.
Graduation season, so much more. Once again, the Mets are, you know, nestled near the bottom of the standings. So it certainly is May if the Mets are nestled at the bottom of the standings. But at least we got the Knicks.
All right. There we go. That's right. We're sorry for having these New York updates to sports, but here we are. That's what Ricky Zambrano can bring. But
that's because it's not college football season yet.
That's right. That's right.
That'll be season 2 of 2026, right?
That's right. That's right. We are, got a mid-year update, and everything goes fast. And finishing up the season number 5 by my counts. Is this season number 5? I believe it is, Ricky.
If you say so.
All right. Very good. Well, we have a special guest, and I do mean special. Ricky, would you like to introduce our very special guest?
I'll try and get the words out because I get so nervous when I'm in his presence. And, you know, unlike you, who you just say whatever you want in his presence. Yeah. And I'm not there yet. You know, you're 20 plus years. I'm the new guy around here. So one day a guy will wake up and be like, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah. Well,
so I'll be respectful when I introduce the greatness of our city manager, Chris White. It is such a pleasure. I'm going to ramp that up a little bit more. You know, such a pleasure to be in your presence and have you here with us today. We are all better today because we're sitting next to Chris.
Dang.
Did that kind of amp it up a little bit? Does that sound pretty good, Chris?
Ricky, you know what? I'm just so honored to be in your presence. I mean, you are the Man of the Year. I'm not the Man of the Year. I'm not even the Man of the Hour. You're the Man of the Year.
That's true.
So,
you're like the man of the last 29 years, though.
Do you feel it?
I feel it. I feel it. But also, as of note, I don't remember very many city managers ever being Man of the Year. Maybe Tom Barry won it after he retired or something?
I think he got that after he retired, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Or it was at the close
to
that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
So, I mean, here's a City of Thomasville employee just getting Man of the Year. And, I mean, what about Chris?
Now, Kay McDonald got Woman of the Year.
That's true. That's true.
She was city manager.
Hey, listen,
but she was retired.
She was?
Listen, it's kind of like my approach to Valentine's Day. You don't have to celebrate something on one particular day when, you know, Chris has his day every day, doesn't he?
Austin, you and I are just in pure greatness.
That's true. That's true.
You recognize
that. You know when you're here in front of greatness. So I'm glad the community finally recognized Ricky's greatness.
And he's got the face for podcasting and radio.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's Austin's line. Only Austin can tell me that. Now, Chris, you know, now we got to back up a little bit. You're kind of knocking off the dynamics here by taking Austin's lines. You know, he's gonna get insulted because
that's right.
You know, he's the only one that can insult me around here.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, it is great to be here at the midpoint of the year and have Chris here with us. And, you know, really, and this is no exaggeration, every time Chris is able to be here with us, we're able to learn not just, you know, more about our present times, but he always is able to give us a little bit about the history because of the time period, the decades that he has spent here serving our community.
He wasn't here when the town was founded, but it was close.
Close.
It was
I think he put on the first electric bulb, didn't he?
Yes, right. 1907.
He turned on the light switch the first time.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
Proud to say it, Ricky.
But we are in the midpoint of our year, and it's great to have you here. And I'll start with a simple one for you, Chris. Just, you lead this great organization of over 450 employees. When you think about it and you sit back and think about it, what aspect of your role do you take most pride in?
Well, and you mentioned 450 employees, Ricky. That's spread across really about 35 departments. So very diverse and very complex organization. And what I enjoy the most about my job is being able to take the initiatives and ideas and recommendations from those various departments and get those in front of our city council and getting all those initiatives across the finish line. I like being in the middle of that, making sure that happens. That's probably one of the most rewarding things that I have about my job.
And I think we could all attest that is certainly the truth. And there's not many calendar invites that Chris will decline across the board when it comes to project and things like that. He keeps himself very informed, and that's why we're very lucky to be able to carve out some time in his schedule to get him on here. So we certainly appreciate you making time for us, Chris.
Absolutely.
Well, you kicked off 2026. We did that in early January podcast, and we're halfway through. Sort of, what do you want to characterize the first half of 2026? What word would that be?
Let's go with a whirlwind, Austin. So we passed the largest budget in recorded history for the city of Thomasville. $140 million operating budget and $52 million in capital projects. And that is, almost triple most in any previous year that we were able to get that much done. So if we're able to get all of these projects across the finish line this year, it will be monumental. Yeah. Now, chances are there's going to be a few that may roll into the first quarter of 27 or so. But our goal is to get as much of that done as we can.
The way I heard you say it in a meeting one time is, sometimes Chris has a good, short, concise way of saying stuff, and it was, there's concrete and roads tore up everywhere.
Yeah, true.
And you were aligned. There's a lot of progress going on, but below the surface, a lot of stuff going on.
It's hard to make a turn here in town without running into seeing a street cone or a backhoe or a detour sign or a barricade.
That's right.
We've got work going on everywhere. Really, really busy year.
Yeah, it's certainly been an extremely busy 6 months to start off the year. As you look at the first 6 months, talk to us about some of the major highlights of this first half of the year.
So outside of capital projects, we were able to get our traditional neighborhood infill development district approved by city council. That took our planning department quite some time to do that. And on the surface, that may not seem like much, but what that does is allows for, we have about 500 properties or so in town that were undevelopable. You couldn't build on them because of our own coding and our own ordinances. So this unlocks those parcels for development, infill development for hopefully affordable housing for the folks that live here. So that was a big lift for us to get that accomplished. Another big initiative that we got across the finish line was our stormwater utility, which is not always popular by everyone, but it is much needed. We spend well over $1 million a year in stormwater activity, and this is just a mechanism to help pay for the services that are being received by the folks that live here and traverse our city streets.
And important to understand on that note is that it allowed to set a staff that addresses those needs.
Dedicated to that effort. And then another good initiative that we had was the creation of the entertainment district, which really benefits our downtown and allowing for alcohol consumption, very, very regulated, very controlled, but within the boundaries of that district downtown and to allow people to enjoy those beverages while they're dining on the sidewalk or while they're shopping. So
Yeah, and it saves us money too.
and it saves us. I think the number was $26,000 a year in overtime and cups and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
really a good move in the right direction.
And we just celebrated our first Road Show and Festival with an entertainment district in place.
We did very successful.
Yep, glad to have that there. A couple of major projects. We've been talking about these a lot. I know our audience is pretty familiar with some of these that are going to be finished here. Give us an update on Remington Streetscape, and it's getting closer. I saw the roundabout and the roses in the roundabout. So
Yeah, so the roundabout is completed. The portion from the roundabout back to Smith is also completed. You may notice all the roses within the roundabout, and we were trying to be in a commencement mode, plant 200 roses within the roundabout and that area right there, that intersection of the roundabout. And the balance of that roadway should be completed by August,
okay,
maybe mid-August, but there's a lot of work that's still got to be done out there. What has been taking a good bit of time is the water main extension. So we're replacing all that water infrastructure along that entire route all the way out to Pine Tree Boulevard. And you'll notice there's being a retention pond that's being constructed there at the county EOC operation. So that's going to really help with some of that stormwater runoff in that area, and this actually helped save us millions of dollars in stormwater management to move that water through the ditches and pipes along Remington Avenue. So that was a great idea that some of our engineering staff come up with, and to be able to retain that water and hold it and let it dissipate over time.
And some will say, and fair enough that they will say, that why can't we just go ahead and get the road paved while all this work is taking place? But there's a lot of heavy equipment, as you've mentioned during council meetings, a lot of heavy equipment trucks that are traversing the area. So that just damages the roadway if you pave it.
The last thing we want to do is spend all that money in paving and beat it up with dump trucks and tractor trailers and backhoes and skid steers and things like that.
And another major project, Old Albany.
Yeah, so Old Albany should be, funny enough, that initiative started in 2019.
Yep.
So I am more than ready to get this across the finish line. That is a Department of Transportation owned roadway. So it's technically it's their project, but we are funding 20% of that. So it's about a $5.5 million project. The city's on the hook for 20%. But we feel like it's very important to have pedestrian activity from town, Carroll Hill area, all the way out to Plantation Oak Drive for folks that live in those two apartment complexes on Cassidy and Old Albany Road.
Yep.
And it looks great.
It's looking really good.
Look phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very safe. Really, as we said before, you want to make everything as pedestrian friendly as possible, and that road wasn't originally designed for that.
No.
But now you're kind of retrofitting it for that. So.
Yep. So that should be done this summer as well. Excited about that.
Another thing we've talked about, but we've got the capital improvement budget also included couple of dollars for the municipal building and auditorium. Can you tell us where we're at on that one?
Well, we'll go with a couple of dollars. It's budgeted at $6.5 million, which is a big lift for this, and we're in that building in this space today. But what that will include is a lot of life safety and deferred maintenance issues. We'll be have asbestos abatement. We're putting in a fire suppression system. We're taking a look at all the intrusion, water intrusion, which is coming through some of the seals of the building. The windows and doors will be addressed, as well as our auditorium, with paint, carpet, and our infamous ceiling in there that looks horrific. That will be changed out and redone, and the rigging on the auditorium will be replaced. So when you ride by on Crawford or Jackson, you probably won't see $6.5 million, but trust us, it's there. It's all in the interior of the building, if you will. But great project. We recently received a $500,000 grant from the Fox Gives.
Fox Theater kind of associated,
Theater.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's part of Fox Theater. So great organization. we're very honored and privileged to be able to receive that multi-year grant for this building.
Yeah, it's going to be, this it's probably been hard to know for council and for staff to do what to do with this building because it's in use all the time. People kind of want to, they have dance recitals here and the graduations have been here and city business goes on here. So it seems to make sense to kind of get it all over with is at one time because there's a lot to be done here.
Yes, sir. I mean, unfortunately, we're going to have to vacate this building, and it's going to displace all the staff that is here for at least a year. We know that. So stay tuned for more information about that, where our Main Street office will be relocated to visitor center. And actually, our city council meeting quarters will be relocated as well.
Yeah, and that's a lot behind the scenes to find and coordinate that, and then we got to market that to get people
just think
there.
about moving all this stuff out.
Yeah, all the stuff's got to go somewhere, and yeah. So there's a lot going on.
So aside of that capital project, Austin, we've got quite a bit of other capital projects going on. We're doing a landfill expansion at our landfill for about $4.5 million. That should be completed at the end of this year. We're doing a $5 million expansion at our airport for additional hangar space and some runway lighting improvements. We are doing about a $5 million wastewater or sewer project over on East Pine Tree Boulevard. That way we can dig up yet another road here in town.
That's right.
That should get started here pretty soon. This is the year of the parks improvements. So we've got
a lot of that.
We've got a project going at Balfour Park, which will be phase one. That's $1.5 million. On that spend, we're doing a $5.5 million project at Paradise Park phase two, which was, and it's really about a $6 million project, but $3 million of that came from the state of Georgia, and then the balance of that is probably going to come from, will come from private investment. So we've already raised close to $2 million on the private side, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, it's just phenomenal.
And that park looks great. I can't wait to see all the parks get up and going after these improvements.
Yeah, it's and it's all, like you said, it's already looking good, but it's going to look even better. And every year we do quite a bit of street resurfacing. So we've got about $7 million in street resurfacing and for the town. Much of that includes water work up under the street. So we always try to go in there. If the infrastructure needs to be replaced, we go ahead and replace that infrastructure prior to resurfacing the street. The last thing you want to do,
have to tear up the street. Beautiful new street.
We're bad enough at that as it is. We don't need to be doing that intentionally.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes there's a water main you just got to get to. Then that's what happens.
Yep.
So, and again, as you said before, we have the SPLOST is paying for some of the roads, but like we're still not paving enough roads just yet at this point.
No, we've got 153 miles of roads, city streets, right? So on our current funding source, we're doing about 3 miles a year, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but about 3 miles a year. So I went to Thomas County Central, but 3 miles a year, 150 miles of streets, you're looking at a 50-year cycle.
Yeah.
That's a long, long time, and that's not sustainable. We really need to be resurfacing, 7, 8, 9 miles a year at minimum. But there may be an opportunity here in the tail end of the year in November. I'm told that a transportation SPLOST is going to be put on the ballot. So I would encourage all of our listeners that if and when that time comes, that you vote in favor of that T-SPLOST. That will put the sales tax here to 9 cents, which does sound high, but we're all about consumption taxes. Let people that use our services help pay for them. We're such a destination town, and we have so many out-of-town folks that come in. Why not let them, in their purchases of meals and hotel stays, help pay for some of the services they receive?
Put some instead of putting it
on the property taxes.
And on the landowners. And we from your homeowners and landowners and all that, but also to me, I know last time you said maybe 20,000 people ish live here and 50,000 come during the day. I kind of think it's more. I mean, I can't believe every time I go out on 19 and 319, you can't get across town no more.
No, sir.
I mean, that's got to be more than 50,000. anyway, that's just me. I mean, I'm totally speculating, but anyway.
Well, you can look at the arterial corridors in the mornings, and it is just a line coming, all inbound.
Yeah.
From 19 South, 19 North.
Coming in from Cairo,
East,
84 East,
19,
coming in from Cairo.
19, I mean, it's 319. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we mentioned November, and obviously the potential of having that as a option for voting. On that topic of civic duty, Chris, what to you? What are the best ways for our community to get involved and keep up to date with everything that's before council and other natures of what we do?
Well, first of all, I would encourage anybody that's interested in that and signing up. Put in an application to serve on a committee. We have numerous committees here within the city that act as steering committees and recommendation committees for our city council. Planning and zoning, Main Street Advisory Board, Downtown Development Authority, and there's a ton of them. So I would encourage anybody that's interested in serving in that capacity. Also, attend city council workshops and city council meetings. Sometimes I know the schedules don't allow folks to go to those, but I encourage you to do that. If you can't do it in person, they're live stream and they're archived on our website, so you can go back and watch them and hear what's going on in the community and what the city council's got going on. And as always, you can stay tuned to one of our many resources of outreach is our website, this podcast, our newsletters, radio shows that we do, and all of that. We joke that we do everything except carrier pigeons and smoke signals as far as trying to get the messaging out to our communities. But that's a true statement.
Yeah. Ricky was learning Morse code the other day. I was wondering why you were doing that, but
I was trying to start my car.
That's
what that sound was.
Yeah, okay, all right.
That was a kid trying to start up.
All right, well, kind of last question coming up, just kind of last message and things to share with our community as we kind of wrap up the first half of 2026 and wrap up the podcast season. Thoughts with the community?
Well, every day, I'm reminded how fortunate we are to call this place home. And our community continues to thrive because of the people who make this city special. That being our residents, the businesses, our employees, volunteers, and community partners who all work together to make this a really special, vibrant, and welcoming place. Thomasville has always been defined, by a strong sense of community. We don't just say that. I mean, that's true. We have pride in our history and commitment to progress, whether it's supporting local businesses, investing in our neighborhoods and celebrating our traditions, or preparing for the future. So we continue to move forward together with a purpose and optimism.
Yeah. All right.
So I want to thank each of you for the role you play in our city, making our city exceptional. Your support, involvement, and dedication help strengthen our community every day. Don't cry, Ricky.
It's about time. It's about
from our public safety people and public works teams to educators, healthcare workers, business owners, and the engaged citizens. It takes us all. As we look ahead, we remain committed to providing excellent services, enhancing the quality of life, and creating opportunities that benefit everyone who lives, works, and visits Thomasville.
In some way, you're in a bit of a driver's seat where you see so many aspects of the community converge to make a great community, and where you see business or industry, you see volunteers, and you see city staff. Except for me and Ricky, city staff really working hard to make a great community.
Well, look at the output of this great community. You've got Ricky Zambrano.
That's right.
What else can you ask for?
That's true. Can we retire as a city? This is the best we can do. We're like, all right, we're out.
Drop the mic. And
That's right. We're done now. We've done enough good to the world.
Do we qualify for a pension?
That's right.
Right.
Chris, can you write that in?
Your pension.
No, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly do thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me again.
And
Appreciate it.
City manager, I've been around long enough to know that it is not an easy job. You are on the hook and in the line of fire for a lot of things, and we appreciate your efforts. We know that you care about staff, and we know that you care about this community, and it shows, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you both.
All right, we're switching gears here a little bit. In honor of the bicentennial, our 2026 podcast will include a Thomasville history Did You Know segment. This information is generously provided to us by the Thomasville History Center. You ready?
I'm ready. Here we
All
go.
right. We missed it in that podcast 1 of May, but we're back. So here we go. Did you know that in 1870, Thomas County population at that point stands at 14,523? Who is that 23rd person is really what I'd like to know. But moving forward a couple of years, in 1874, the first Mitchell House, Thomasville's first luxury hotel, opened in the 100 block of North Broad Street.
Where the Emporium is for the toy store Emporium. Sorry.
What is Emporium?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
The old Neal House, as people call it, but that's where that was, and it was facing the courthouse, so it had a pretty cool courtyard. If you see some of the old pictures.
Okay, and lastly, in 1877, Thomasville's Henry O. Flipper became the first African American graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. For someone that moved here in 2005. It is incredible as you dig through history to find out so many deep-rooted pieces of history that are significant nationally that come out of this community. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna sound ignorant when I say this, but when I came here, I thought Charlie Ward was the biggest thing that came out of Thomasville. Mm-hmm. And that's been the biggest pleasure for me to learn the history of the community in so many different ways that this community has impacted the country as a whole. And
Charlie Ward Jr. being one of those too, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but
yes. Not
knocking him, but just saying there's a lot more than you see.
Remember, he played for the Knicks, so
I'm
not going to knock him.
There you go.
He was my point guard.
That's right. He had a great career. Great NBA career.
Well, we're nearing the end. So just some reminders, as this is the last podcast of our first half of the season. So our calendar is going to be pretty widespread, but we do have an upcoming event of note, and that is on Tuesday, June 9th. We will hold our coffee and conversations with the city managers, the spectacular Chris White, and our assistant, even more spectacular assistant city manager, Cheryl Seeley.
I totally recommend that you ignore Chris and talk to Cheryl. I mean, that's totally what I would recommend.
And Chris would be okay with that.
Chris is shaking his head over here, agreeing with us.
I'm great with that.
That will take place on June 9th, as I mentioned, at 5:30 p.m., and that will be held at the Thomas County Public Library. As was mentioned earlier, there are going to be a lot of moving parts with the municipal building, so we encourage the community to keep an eye out and an ear to the ground to hear about all those relocations that will be taking place. All that information will come out through thomasville.org and our social media outlets. And as always, we will have a laundry list of events such as First Fridays coming up and other community outreach events that will all, social media will always be the best place to gather all of that information while we take a little break from the podcast season.
That's right. So we'll be getting back, come August or maybe the end of July is when season 6.
July, guess what comes back at the end of July?
What's that?
The intern takeover.
Intern takeover?
We will start the second half of the year with the traditional, what has now become a great tradition, the intern takeover. Our interns that will be with us at that point, nearing the end of their summer internship, and they will have full control over the internship, over the podcast, and it's been great the last couple of years that we've done that. Yeah,
they've done an excellent job, and we're just glad to really like that program and like to get young folks in here and see what they bring and fresh ideas they bring to the table. Is always kind of fun to watch and see and listen to. Again, just want to thank everybody. I'm closing the show out. I want to remind you to subscribe on the podcast and on your favorite listening app so that you can give us a hard time.
You've been listening to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. The show is produced by the City of Thomasville Marketing Department. The show's music is by pond5.com. To learn more about the City of Thomasville, visit thomasville.org or follow us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.